Okay, we're here today and we're going to be talking to Melvin Gainer in reference to his experiences with the Baltimore riot of 1968 as it pertains to the North Avenue area. And my question to you, Mr. Melvin, is what do you remember mostly about the riots during that time?
Well, so much about the riots of the time in 1968, 1969, as far as I can remember. I was raised and born up on North and Poplar Grove in the Walbrook Junction area. At that time, I could remember the coming on the radio and of the TV that they had slain the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And at that time, as a little fellow growing up between the ages of 10 and 11 years old when the riots took place, I can remember standing out on the front porch watching a lot of people go to fist fighting. I can remember people going to stores. They just started looting and breaking glass out. They had set a place on fire. I can remember seeing people run up and down the street with televisions, refrigerators, or anything that wasn't nailed down that they could go into a facility such as a grocery store. There was a lot of looting going on. I also remember growing up in that time area that I can remember that the city had the National Guard. They had posted the National Guards out, and standing out on the front porch looking up and down the street watching the National Guards being on the roof. And I thought it was kind of weird at the time, but as I was getting older and I came to understand and what was passed down to me after the Reverend Martin Luther King had been slain, that the rioting that was going on and the peacekeeping that they was trying to bring back into the city. And I thought it was just going on right here in this area, but come to find out later on it was going on all throughout the city. You know, I remember the National Guards being up on the roof with their weapons pointing down. With them, they having instructions to fire up on the looters. You know, and I thought it was pretty crazy though, but like I said, at the time I was around 10 going on 11 years old, and my parents being overprotective, they were snatching me off the street telling me to stay in the house. I can remember going in the house and going out the back door because I was one of them type of kids that, you know, I really wanted to see what was going on for myself. I go out the back door and I see the looters run up and down the alley with such appliances such as stoves, refrigerators, or anything that wasn't nailed down. You know, I can remember there was a little grocery store around the corner. They looted that. And then we had a supermarket that was down the street from the house. They looted that, set that on fire. Had two service stations, one on the opposite end of each street, and I can remember them going up in there taking products that were not theirs. We had a little like strip area up the street from the house. They went in there and they tore up everything basically up there. And the only thing I can remember that was not harmed or done was the churches. And we had a couple churches then at the time, and nothing became of that, you know. But as I can remember, it was just like mayhem. It was very, very crazy, you know. And growing up in that time area, it was just a lot to look at, you know. And I thought, well, if this is the way the world is, this is the way it is, you know. So.
And not to interrupt you, but how did it actually start, the looting and everything like that? And I mean, was it just something that just all of a sudden happened? I mean, a group of people, they started it, or I mean, it just was like...
It was like a command. Once the announcement came over the radio and the television that the Reverend King was assassinated, it was just like it was a spark. It was like that's all that the people needed. You know, it was something that everybody was believing, what he was fighting for, what he was standing for, and there was a lot of followers behind the Reverend King at the time, and they saw that there was a lot of wrong going on because there was a lot of prejudice still going on back then in that area, just as it is today. But you know, it was pretty wild.
And what stores in the area in which you were damaged, was looted? Was there any in particular stores?
As far as I can remember, there was Jerry's Shoe Store, there was the B&M Supermarket, there was Rudy's AID, there was like a Saberama Supermarket that was down the street, there was a Jim and Ruth Grocery Store, there was a Mel's Bar on one corner, there was a Jerry's Bar on another corner, there was Pete's Bar on one corner. All them places was affected by the looting.
Oh, okay. And as far as the National Guards, what presence did they have in your neighborhood?
Well, they showed a presence. It really was to deter what was going on, either the activity that took place. and more so than anything, it was sitting up there as a deterrent factor. But far as from where I was standing at and what I could see, it was like once the National Guards were put in their places, individuals that was doing the rioting decided to take other avenues.
Yes. And how long did this last?
Well, it lasted for quite a bit of time. It went on, far as I can remember, for a couple of days, to the best of my knowledge.
Oh, okay. So it was like more than a week, less than a week?
I would say it was less than a week, to the best of my knowledge, as far as I can remember.
And today, did anything come out of all of that commotion and everything like that that was happening that you can think of? Did anything come out of that other than a lot of destruction?
That's all I remember. It was a lot of destruction and a lot of facilities set on fire. And to actually sit here and say something good became of it, no, I wouldn't say nothing good became of it, because it was something that should have never happened.
And in saying that, what I would like to do is thank you very much for your participation, and I appreciate all that you had to share. Thank you.